Peace and salute, whoever's watching. Grand Rising, Grand Rising, Grand Rising. On the road right now. Salute, salute, peace. hop out and show niggas. Grand Rising, peace and salute. Oh, son, what's up? How you doing? Hope all is well with you. You good? All right. I'm doing good. Thank you. I was on probation a little bit. YouTube. I was in the YouTube jail for a little bit. Hold on. I'm trying to take this camera shit off. I don't know how to turn it off. It won't let me take it off. I don't know how this shit works. Hold on. All right, cool. What's up, y'all? What's up? Yeah, they had me, so I had said on a live the other day that, I had posted like 3 videos of, Charlie Kirk, you know, what happened to him. And on one of them, you know, I slowed it down and really showed what it is and what it's not. And, you know, I got a violation for that, community guideline violation for that, you know. And I posted something else too. And I forgot, I think it was with the ice. I posted something with the ice, with these ice cops. Yo, Fenici, salute, brother. So I posted something with the ice, and I put, ICE is eating good, and they eat in the immigrants, you know. Early in the year, they were saying that people was eating cats and dogs. So I made a play off of that. So I guess that's what really had me banned or whatever. They had me banned for like, it was almost like a whole month. You know what I mean? So that's why I did this live the other day and was telling people, like, we have to pay attention and be mindful of what we posting. You know what I mean? As more and more time goes by, I realize that we really don't have any freedom of speech anymore. You know, you can't post stuff. You know, that's why I'm not on Facebook anymore. I had my Facebook synced to my Instagram, right? So anything I post on Instagram, it would automatically go to my Facebook. And I was banned. You know what I mean? I was banned. I just never went back to Facebook. I didn't care about Facebook anyways. I got tired of Facebook, you know. So we just got to be mindful. You know what I mean? These ain't our platforms. I know a lot of us want to speak the way we want to speak and say the things that we want to say. But until we create our own, we can't do that. You know what I mean? So it's my fault. I'm not really mad at YouTube. You know what I mean? I had to watch like a whole video about community guidelines, what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. So, you know, now I know how to move a little bit better. I'm gonna still do what I want to do. I mean, not what I want to do. I'm gonna still post certain things. I just got to be mindful. If there's something that goes against community guideline, I'm gonna just have to remove it. You know what I mean? And that's really it. You know, and that's just for me. That's for y'all too. You know, we see these things. You might have to watch the video once or twice. You know, edit it. If you know how to edit. There's a lot of apps out there that show you how to do certain things to the videos and stuff like that. So that's all. We just got to be mindful. You know what I mean? But yeah, are y'all paying attention? I just posted, not posted, but I uploaded a video last night. It's about 7 minutes and 52 seconds. I would love for y'all to if y'all didn't watch it already, to watch it. It's about the global digital ID and how in Canada and in, you know, England, they're going to start mandating people. Now, of course, they're doing the fear mongering by telling you that if you don't get this digital ID, you cannot work, right? Now, somebody had hit me up and said, oh, I saw something, but they was talking about illegal immigrants or whatever. That's how they get you. You know what I mean? That's how they get people. They're going to say so what they want to do is, you know, we have a license, and somebody who may not have a license may have a regular ID, right? Then you have your birth certificate. You have your passport. What they are telling the masses is we're doing away with all of that. What they saying is it's going to save us money on paperwork. This is what they saying. Now, mind you, since I've been born, everything was paperwork, right? We still have companies, jobs that doesn't do the electronic direct deposit with their employees, right? They still giving out physical checks, right? So what they're saying is they're trying to cut back from all of that. And instead of you having all these multiple documents, they're going to put everything on this digital ID. With this digital ID, it's going to have your social, you know, your license information, your passport, your birth certificate information, your health information. They're trying to say it's going to be convenient for us. Now, how do you think that I can say something is convenient for you without having a conversation with you and asking you, does this work for you? Is it red for you or is it blue, right? I have to give you that option and see what works for you and say, oh, okay, red works for you. Okay, so I'm going to give you red. But I can't make the decision for you and say, you know what? This is how I always put this shit in an example, right? We got Coke, we got Pepsi, we got Sprite, and all these other sodas, right? And I'm telling y'all, no more different options no more. I'm going to give you one and one only, and it has to be Coke. Now, does that make sense? That I'm telling you what is good for you. Never mind what's good for yourself, but I'm telling you what's good for you. That makes no sense. And people are just, I have this conversation with certain people again. A lot of people will have, you know, they'll have knowledge or have information about shit that cannot help them in life, right? Especially if they have children. They can't help their children, can't help their moms, their grandmother, their aunts, their cousin, whatever, right? But when you have these conversations about them, the first thing they say is, oh, That's never gonna happen. It's like, yo, bro, what are you talking about? Because if it's happening in Canada and it's happening in England and all these other countries in the UK, you don't think it's gonna come over here? Because the UK and the US is like this. So whatever's being done over there and rolled out over there comes over here. It's just like somebody will say, oh, the Ukraine and Russia war is not affecting me because that's their war. But what happens over there comes over here. It may not come right then and there, but it's going to eventually come over here. It's just like the Gaza and the Israel war. What happens between these two countries, people will say, oh, it doesn't affect me. Oh, yes, it does. Because Israel's part of it too. They got their hands in everything. You know what I mean? Peace, peace, peace. Peace, Raph. Salute, man. Grand Rising. So that be the problem. And me, I'm not going to argue with nobody. I'm not going to debate with nobody. Whatever that person does, that's their business. That's cool. But me, again, like I like to use the example, somebody will know everybody who's on a Diddy list, everybody who's on, listen, let me just tell y'all, this government shutdown ain't what y'all think it is. I know the ones who know, they know. But I'm just talking to the ones who think what they see on mainstream news, and what mainstream news is saying is that's why. The government shutdown is for a lot of reasons, okay? One of the reasons is because of the Epstein thing, right? I think there was a congressperson out of Arizona who passed away, right? So there's a chain of command. So that person got sworn in, but they passed away. So someone else, right? It's called an emergency something. I forgot what it is, but y'all could go look it up. So meaning if I got elected, right, for Congress, for a congressman position or whatever, right, and something happens to me to where I can't perform my duties, right, after I get sworn in, they have this emergency thing where it goes to the second person, right, that will take my position because I can't perform my duties, right? So anyways, this lady is supposed to been sworn in, and others too, right? That's supposed to get sworn in for their position. And when they get sworn in, they automatically gonna sway the voting for the Epstein list, meaning they're gonna vote for it to be released, right? Now, a lot of people, this is the problem that I have. I'm not a Trumpster and I'm not a MAGA. I'm not Democrat, I'm not Republican, I'm not independent, I'm not a conservative. I am me, right? I don't belong to no political parties, no groups or nothing like that, because I don't care. Once you involve yourself with these type of groups, it's an occult, and you know, I'm not even gonna get into that. I'm just gonna say I don't belong to no groups, right? So at the end of the day, people think Trump don't want to release it. Yes, Trump was connected to Epstein. They were doing business. And once Trump knew what Epstein was doing and what Epstein was about, he separated himself from Epstein. Now, the real truth why, right? And Trump has, listen, and this is another thing I got to tell people. When Trump was going against Biden, right? If Biden really knew, this is against Biden and Kamala, right? If they really knew, obviously they did their research and found out that Trump is not on this list for anything miscellaneous or anything, you know, negative, right? They would have used that against Trump and Trump would have lost. This is where people is like, I don't get how people can't do the simple math. We're not even talking about calculus. We're not talking about algebra, just basic math. And we're talking about addition and subtracting. If I have something against you that I know that will damage you, right? And we running as presidential candidates, I would put that out there because it would damage you, your image, your everything that you stand for, and that would make me look better and put me in the forefront. People are gonna be like, wow, oh, like Hillary. I'll bring up Hillary Clinton. Hillary really was never gonna win because of the emails that y'all probably should remember. If y'all don't remember, the emails that were linked to her, John Podesta, and what's that other guy's name? Something Weiner, the dude who exposed himself. He was a politician. Listen, those emails are bad. And the other link to that too with Hillary was the Benghazi situation where what you call this stuff? What you call it again? Damn, the embassy in Benghazi sent her emails and was like, yo, listen, man, we need some troops out here. We need some real security out here because these people are threatening us with this and that. And they just disregard the emails. And then the thing in Benghazi, y'all could look all of this up. Listen, I'm not into politics. I study political science. So I know a little bit more than the average bear, but that doesn't mean that I know everything, because that would be stupid and dumb of me to think that I know everything, right? And it teaches you this. This is why I be telling people, like, when it comes to the president, it doesn't matter, y'all. Whether you want to partake and think that you have some form of control or you have some form of power by voting for the president does not matter when it comes to us or even the other side. That's just an illusion. And this is the fact. Presidents are already selected, y'all. Okay? They just make you, they do this whole, pony show to make you feel like you had some form of control. Yeah, I just voted. Yeah. They give you the little sticker, you put it on your shirt and all this other stuff. It is what it is. The things that we have control of and we can control is in our cities, in our towns, in our states, meaning the governor, the mayors, the selectmen, select women, Congress. I've been saying this and people should know this. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to know this, y'all. We don't have these type of controls, man. We only make up 13% in the United States of America. So how can we sway any vote? People still thinking they have control and all of this, man. Listen, it is what it is, But again, we got to pay attention to the real shit that's going on, y'all. Because look at that. They're talking about cutting people's EBT off for November, if this government shutdown continues. And this is what I don't understand. The feds did a raid yesterday, right? They arrested 34 people. 34 people they arrested with this gambling and stuff like that. If people still think that sports is like official and it's on the up and up, you're bugging. You're tweaked out, you're bugged out. For real. Like, we should know by now, this shit is all scripted. It is all rigged, okay? This is why they have betting and they got Vegas. Why you think, like, my state just joined in? It was illegal to do sports betting in Massachusetts. It's legal now out here. It wasn't last year and the years before, but now it is. The lottery. Where do y'all think the lottery come from? The lottery comes from the mafia. The mafia, before the mafia was running numbers, let me bring it back to history. Before the mafia was running numbers, because y'all see it in all the movies. They be like, oh yeah, go collect the numbers or go collect the pay for the numbers, this and that. They put shit in movies to hip you, to let you know what it is and what it's not. But melanated folks were the ones who came up with the lottery, okay? They the ones running numbers. I'm going to say running numbers. They the ones who came up with the running numbers thing. It's the same thing, lottery, running numbers. It's the same thing. They the ones who came up with it. The mafia strong arm a lot of melanated folks. I'm going to give y'all this, right? If y'all know anything about Rick James talks about it. His mother was like a mathematician. She was super good with math. You could throw shit at her. She don't need no paper, no pen, no nothing. You be like, yo, what is whatever times whatever divided by whatever, and she'll give you the number, right? She was that good. She used to run numbers for an Italian mob family. This is facts, I'm telling y'all. Y'all could go look this up. This is factual shit. Like I said, Rick James talked about it multiple times in interviews. So long story short, melanated folks, us, we used to run the numbers, and the mafia strong-armed all of the black folks, basically, guns, whatever, threatened them and was like, hey, we're taking over this. You know what I mean? And they took it over. So long story short, if 34 people and the mob is part of it, why they only show 3 black men's faces like they the ones who's the head in charge running the whole, sports, betting thing and all this? It's just crazy, man. This is why I tell people, right? And this is with just life. Whatever's presented to you, it could be a rumor, a lie. Someone comes to you and say, hey, so-and-so told me this and told me that, or they was talking this and they was talking that about you. You can't just emotionally just snap and, yeah, let me go and I want to go do this and I want to go do that. You got to think. Who is the person that's telling you this, that these people are talking about you, right? That's one. You got to look at the messenger. And there's a saying that says, it's not who started the rumor that's bad. It's the person that believes the lies and the rumors that is sad and bad. And that's a fact. Okay? So we got to question people and be like, yo, who is this person coming to me? Even if it's somebody that you know, you got to question, why is this person saying this, saying that? You know what I mean? And stuff like that. So what I'm saying is, when you see things on the news or whatever it is, you know, reading the newspaper, however it is, you got to do your due diligence. You got to do your research, and don't just take things for face value. You know, don't take something that is brought to you to the surface and you don't go behind it and check. It's like putting up a wall, but you don't make sure there's a beam behind the wall. You know what I mean? You got to make sure. It's like building a house. When they building homes and houses, they got to lay down a foundation, a solid foundation. They got to put up beams and stuff like that that's going to hold this structure up. You know what I'm saying? You don't just start building on it could have been some dirt that is infested. It could be some soil that, you know, had chemical waste on it. Because I used to do environmental work. You know what I mean? So I learned a lot of that stuff. Like before businesses set up, like I'm at a Walmart right now, right? So before they set up this Walmart, right, and they built this building up, they had to clean that soil that building is sitting on. They had to go deep, right? They had to go like, I think it's like past 6 feet, I believe, like 10 feet or somewhere like that, to make sure that soil's not contaminated, you know, because whatever was there could have contaminated that soil. You know what I mean? And then now that's coming up into the building and people are breathing it and all this other stuff. It's just like when you have a home, right? And you got a basement, there might be asbestos in that basement. You know what I mean? There might be some harmful shit. You know what I mean? Like I used to de-lead, you know what I mean? Lead paint. You can't use lead paint no more. That I think they used to use lead paint in the early 70s, and then at one time they realized people was getting sick and lead paint was contaminated, so a lot of homes don't carry lead paint no more. They'll tell you that it's harmful to children and pets, like it's okay for you to breathe. That's not the truth. You know what I mean? It's for nobody. So I do that type of work. You know what I'm saying? My cousin does home renovations, home improvement. You know what I mean? So when he purchases a home, property, or whatever, he checks to make sure, oh, if it has lead paint, yo, Mel, I need you to get on this job and de-lead this whole house. You know what I mean? And stuff. And de-leading just means that you're scraping up the paint. You know what I mean? You got to find everywhere where it has lead and scrape it up. You know what I'm saying? It was somebody in the NBA and Inner Circle. Yeah. Nah, yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. But what I'm saying is they arrested 34 people, right? And they saying that the mob is really behind it. But if you arrested 34 people, why you only show 3 people's face on the news and you only expose 3 people's name? You know what I mean? That's like we get caught up in something and we get caught with, you know, other people and they put our faces on the news and our name, but they didn't, you know, put everybody else's name. You got to understand, right? Not understand, excuse me. I'm not going to say you have to, but I'm just generally speaking. People got to understand, because I don't like using the word understand. You got to understand and overstand certain things. This has to do with sports. Now, mind you, this ain't something that happened yesterday. This ain't something that happened a month ago. They've been investigating. One of the players, Terry Rozier, he got drafted by the Boston Celtics years ago. He plays for the Miami Heat now. He already was investigated by the feds for this. So whoever was around him is going to open a whole new case. And who's not to say that he was working as a CI, a confidential informant for the feds to lock up other people. See, again, people got to be smarter than a 5th grader, man. I like to say, you got to think big. You got to think outside the box. Because again, he already faced a fine. What was it? I think it was last year. Yeah, it was last year. Last NBA season, he was fined by the NBA and all this other stuff. You know what I mean? So it's just like, even if you do time, somebody does time, they do Fed time. When you come out, you still might be on the Fed's watch list. I'm not even going to say might be. You still going to stay on that list for whatever criminal activity you got arrested for. they're going to still be watching you. You got to be a fool to think, oh, well, I just did 10 years in the feds for identity fraud or some form of scamming, and they're not going to be paying attention to you. It's like hackers, right? They'll find out. The feds and or whatever, all these organizations, the letter organizations, they'll find the best hackers in the United States or in the world to show them how does hacking work. You know what I'm saying? And they'll use them and pay them. Like I personally know somebody. I can't put his information out and all this other stuff. You know what I mean? That's the type of shit he does. You know, he went to MIT. MIT is in Boston. It's a university. It's a tech university. You know what I mean? Bill Gates worked alongside with them. If you ever heard Bill Gates talking about, oh, we're going to be spraying the skies to block the sun and make the sun ray go back to space or whatever, he got that idea and all of that from MIT. Students and a professor at MIT. See, that's how they do. Yeah. Bumpy face, Johnson. Yeah, correct. All listen, man. The mafia and you know, Irish mob, you know, all of these dudes been doing what they was doing. You know what I mean? Like when J. Edgar Hoover, for an example, was running the feds, right? He was only looking at Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, the Black Panther Party, all of that. Y'all could look it up. Y'all could do y'all research on this. This is facts. They never went after the mafia around when J. Edgar Hoover. After J. Edgar Hoover passed away, that's when they went after the you know, the Italian mob and all of that. But around that time, they was only looking at the Black Panther Party and anything that was involving melanated people. You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that. Dog Soldier, salute, man. Grand Rising. It's business. As usual. Yeah, facts. Correct. So, like, yeah, man, this is what I say, man. I look at things differently. You know what I mean? And everybody's brains don't work. You know, some people, they rather, you know, hey, be more in tuned with entertainment or whatever the case may be. And that's cool. That's fine. But, you know, for me, I'd rather pay attention to shit that is impactful, you know, in my life, that's going to affect my children, you know, stuff like that. Like I said, with the EBT shit, they talking about next month, they're going to knock that out. The digital currency, the digital ID that you seen all over mainstream. And some mainstream news ain't really even covering it like that. It's really like content creators that is doing shows about it and all this other stuff. Mainstream news ain't really talking about it, but we already got the digital ID that they telling you out here. Well, the new ID, it's the same thing. It's just a different name. They're telling you if you don't get the new ID, you can't travel, you can't go in no federal building, and that's not true. If you do have a passport that is valid, you still could travel domestically, and which is crazy to me. You know what I mean? My sisters just went to they went to New Jersey and they flew to Atlanta. They had to have their passports with them. And that's just to fly domestically. Passports is to fly to a whole nother country. It don't make no sense. But people will tell you, oh, it's conspiracy theories. And it's like, yo, what are we talking about? Because everything they planned from the 50s and 60s happened in the damn 80s and 90s. The shit that they planned from the 90s, the 80s and 90s happened in the early 2000s and in the late 2000s. You see what I'm saying? And shit is happening now. So how much of a theory it is? Because the word conspiracy just means to conspire in secrecy. And what do you think governments do? Come on, man. JFK exposed all of this shit. You know what I mean? When he's like, yo, I want a government that whatever we do, the people know exactly what we're going to do. Hey, we got to inform them. This is what we're going to do. We're going to do X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? It's like when you donate money, you got to ask that charity or foundation or organization that you donate to, hey, how much % of my money goes to that cause? Because people think if they tell you, hey, send $10, that $10 reaches that country or whatever. It's not true. It's not true. Everyone's taking off of that $10. Red Cross is taking their cut. Whatever aid relief is taking their cut. The U.S. is taking their cut. The UN is taking their cut. By that time, I'm just giving y'all an example. By that time that $10 reaches, let's just say wherever it's supposed to go. Let's say it's supposed to go to damn Argentina, right? It's going to be 60 cents. You see what I'm saying? So you got to ask the organization. So people think when they donate money, all of that money, 100% of their money or everybody's money goes to that cause. That's a lie. Like when you go to Walmart or any store, right? You know how you at the register and whether you paying, like you using your card or it might say like, hey, do you want to donate $2 to the Learn How to Read Foundation? And you're like, oh man, that's a dope foundation. Yeah, I want to donate $2, right? That place, wherever you at, that's asking you that, they already got paid for that money. So meaning, let's just say Walmart, because I'm at Walmart. I'm about to buy some cleaning stuff from there. I don't buy food from Walmart. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. But so say I go inside and they say, hey, sir, you want to donate $2 to the Reading Foundation? And I say, yeah. Walmart already paid that off. Walmart's getting the money from the customers. That's their like pocket money. It ain't even their back end. It's like pocket change. Whether you want to say back end, pocket change, whatever, they already paid. So let's just say Walmart paid $30,000. All right, they wrote a check, which is a tax write-off. They write a $30,000 check to the Reading Foundation. Walmart, think about it. For every person that hears that Reading Foundation, yeah, man, that's a good cause. $2, think about it. They're going to make well over $30,000. You see what I'm saying? So they're going to make much more than their money that they gave to that foundation. Again, if they paid $30,000, let's just, for example, right? They make 100,000 off of the people, right? Every $2, they make $100,000, right? Plus, it's a tax write-off for them. So they're going to get that $30,000 back at the end. So this is how this shit work, but people have no idea. Same thing with the Salvation Army. What they do, I think it's around not Thanksgiving, Christmas. They stand in front of the store and they shaking the bell and they got that big red thing where people just be putting change or dollar bills, 5, 10, 15, whatever. And they stand in front of stores. It's the same thing. That store already paid the Salvation Army. They wrote them a check. Didn't pay them, but they wrote them a check, which is again a tax write-off. Remember when Oprah was giving out, hey, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car. That was a tax write-off for her. It wasn't like, oh yeah, let me just give back to the audience some free cars just because I feel like it. These people are billionaires. That's how they stay. Billionaires, multimillionaires do not use their own money. They get funds. They never use their own hard-earned money. They get sponsors. They get ads and whatever. So if somebody says, if I like say I'm a superstar, right? And I'm having an event, I didn't come out my pocket and pay for that event. You know what I'm saying? Let's say I'm doing an event where, I don't know, I'm doing an event for kids, right? And I'm giving back to these kids that attend there with their parents and all of that, right? I'm giving them I don't know, let's just say PlayStations, right? For an example, I'm giving away PlayStations. That event that has my name attached to it, everything is a tax write-off. I'm calling Nike, hey, I'm throwing an event. I'm giving away, I would like to give away such and such PlayStations. Nike says, oh, I like that. I want to be part of this. Let me write you a check for $50,000. Then I call another entity. Hey, I'm doing a giveaway to kids. I'm giving away PlayStations. I just got a check from Nike for $50,000. Oh yeah, Nike only did 50? Yo, those cheap bastards. Here's a check for 100,000. You know what I'm saying? That's what these people do. But because my name is attached to it and I might have some money, people might perceive it or take it as, oh, this person is you know, such and such. Shaq is giving away PlayStations to kids. Oh, Shaq is so nice. Don't get me wrong. Shaq is that type of dude, but what I'm just trying to explain is that he's not using his money to do that. You know what I mean? He's using other people's money to do that, you know, and it's a tax write-off for them. Even if he takes a check and he tells his accountant, like, yo, write a check for $20,000, $30,000, whatever. I gotta, you know, give up some of my money too, you know, because whatever you don't use, the government, Uncle Tom is gonna take. This is why people create LLCs and all this other stuff, and they'll might, you know, hire their family member and stuff. There's an infamous video interview y'all should go look at, right? Shaq talks about it. Shaq's like, yo, his accountant's like, yo, you got XYZ money on the side, and if you don't do something with this money, you know, the government, you're gonna have to give it to the government. And Shaq's like, yo, what do you think I should do? And the accountant's like, yo, you know, hire your mother and hire your stepdad, and that money can just go to them. So that's what Shaq did. He says this. Y'all can look it up. You know what I mean? So it's things like that that I care about, man. I can't worry about the next man and what they think about or what they got going on. You know what I mean? I'm not worried about, you know, I just work, you know, I be around like-minded people. You know what I mean? These are the things that we talk about because something's about to come. They already now telling you there's a massive fucking UFO that's as huge as damn Manhattan, or 10 times bigger than Manhattan, that's coming, and all this other stuff. But before, they would never tell you there's a UFO coming. Now they putting these information out. Why you think they doing this? Why you think now they want to just freely tell you there's a UFO that we see, and we have the special satellite. Y'all can't see it, but we see a UFO coming, and it's bigger than Manhattan. All of a sudden now, but basically almost all my life, they've been hitting the information and telling you, oh, there's no such thing as UFOs. There's no other life forms. We're the only ones. And it's just like, yo, it is what it is, man. You know, but, you know, I'm about to go up in here, and my phone is not going to work in there. But yeah, y'all, you know, just be mindful, man. Just pay attention. You know, I don't expect nobody to be like me, and that's not reality, because I don't want to be none of y'all, you know, no disrespect, but just pay attention. You know, when something is presented to you, just do your research and really find out what it is and what it's not. That's all. You know, they're going to use the fear mongering. Oh, if you don't get the new ID, you can't travel. No, that's a lie. You could travel if you just have to get a passport. If you know, if they're going to tell you if you don't get the new ID, you can't go inside federal buildings and this and that, that's a lie. As long as you have a valid passport. And if you don't have a passport, I suggest y'all go get a passport. Facts. Because if you don't want to comply and obey, there's still certain things that you can do while it's accessible and available. Just do it. You know what I mean? And stuff like that. Unless you're just somebody that says, you know what? F it. I'm not going to fly at all. I'm going to just drive everywhere I go. But, you know, you can't drive to a whole nother country. You know what I mean? But you could drive in the States. So if you're not going outside the country, that's cool. And you like driving, hey, go rent a car. Don't put the miles on your personal car, but go to Enterprise, you know, budget and all of that. I shouldn't even say their names because I'm not getting paid for them, you know, but just go rent a car and put the miles on that car. You know, you gotta go to Florida and you live, you know, in the Northeast, rent a car and drive. If you don't want to confine to, you know, or comply to, you know, the things, but I'm just letting y'all know that as long as you have a valid passport, you still can travel, you know. You still can travel, but yeah, I'm about to get off of here. I appreciate everybody that tapped in and tuned in. Appreciate y'all. You know what I'm saying? I do have a live show with my co-host, Peach. It's every Wednesday at 8 o'clock. We talk about different topics, a lot of topics like these type of things that a lot of people ain't really talking about, you know what I mean? Or a lot of people is not well informed on. So we will be touching up on a lot of topics. You know, we just did a show this past Wednesday. It was a dope show. If y'all didn't see it, you know, I'd appreciate it if y'all watch it. You know, like, share, comment, engage, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. I'm going to try to do my best to go live, you know, a little more, you know. So, you know, like I said, y'all, man, y'all stay safe out there. You know what I mean? Stay vigilant, move militant. And on that note, I'm gone. Peace.